Josh, writing down two paragraphs on a piece of paper got you this wound up? This wound up about reading two paragraphs out loud? Let's jump into it.
I'm not gonna read it.
Are you serious?
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex and I would greatly appreciate if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Also, please hype the videos if you have hype points left for the week. Thank you so much to all of you guys that engage with the videos. Today, we are going to be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 19, Episode 8. But before we begin, I do want to point out some other content on the channel. Number one, I have done recaps for this whole season of Married at First Sight so far. So if you haven't checked out the previous recaps, definitely go ahead and go through the playlist on my page. Also, I covered episodes 1 through 4 of Squid Game The Challenge. So if you're interested in that, I also have a video up there. Now, let's jump into it. So we began with Megan and Derek awkwardly in the kitchen after their fight.
Still mad about the Scott comment. He was like, she doesn't want kids. Like, talk to me.
Megan is on some hang, as if she was not the one just yelling at him like crazy. Megan basically explains though that for her, she felt really upset at the fact that this kid's conversation was being discussed with Derek's friends rather than being approached to her. So Derek essentially apologizes for triggering her, and she's like, but that's not an apology. Apologizing for triggering me is very different than apologizing. And he's like, okay, I'm sorry in general for whatever I did. And I'm like, this is just dumb. Again, I feel like I am in the twilight zone with Derek because I'm always so confused at exactly what it is that makes Megan so upset. Yes, I get the frustration if Megan genuinely felt like she was being discussed with Derek's friend rather than this being approached to her, but it doesn't require that kind of reaction. The way that she went from 0 to 100 so quickly is unacceptable. Do I think Derek could have done a better job by being like, hey, I want to approach the kids conversation rather than being like, my friend wanted to talk about it or me and my friend talked about it, so I want to get into it? Yes, I do, because that's the second time we've actually seen Derek do this on this show. The first time was during paddleboarding when Pat and Rhonda had a situation and then Derek decided that he was going to talk to Megan about it. So I do feel like Derek does have this little pattern of kind of getting from other people what he should try to talk about with Megan. But that being said, that did not warrant Megan's reaction at all. The way she talks to people is pretty disrespectful. And again, I would have absolutely lost it because there's no way you're going to talk to me like that. Megan goes on to say that one of the things she liked the most about Derek is the fact that she felt so safe and so comfortable with him. And I'm like, do you? It doesn't seem that way. And the fact that this happened now makes it feel like she cannot trust him anymore. So Derek asks again, what can I do in order to make you feel safe again? And again, that's one of the things I really like about Derek, that he will always ask for examples. He will always ask her to be direct about what she wants. So they're holding hands and Megan's like, this. And she kind of looks down to him holding her hand. And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. It's so unserious. Megan is the definition of avoidant. But in the confessional, she says that Derek always does a really good job at calming her down, holding her hand, making her feel calm and soothed in these situations. And all I have to say is, Derek, you better run. Because this is going to be a cycle in this relationship where you're going to have to sit here self-soothe her like she a little baby all the time when she has these breakdowns. That is exhausting. You're not going to be able to handle that. Pat and Rhonda, they're at their shared apartment and it is their 1 month anniversary. It's everyone's 1 month anniversary. And they are basically watching the space launch in the morning. Rhonda says this is not really what she expected when she was getting married at first sight, but she's excited to share it with Pat. So Pat gives a little more information about his background.
Apollo astronauts were landing and they were bringing them back to Hawaii. I can remember standing at the chain link fence.
He was living in Hawaii during the Apollo space launch. He spent his life in space operations. And even though he's semi-retired, this is something he always wanted to share with his partner. Rhonda does seem genuinely interested. She lets Pat kind of go on. And hey, for as much as I can't stand Rhonda, Pat is a talker. Pat definitely loves to hear himself talk as well. I really think that's the reason why Rhonda is so upset, because she met her match in that both of the two of them love to hear themselves talk. I feel like Rhonda is so used to being the one in the relationship that dominates conversation that it just drives her nuts that Pat can match that energy. Josh and Jaylen, for their 1 month, they're going skydiving.
Let's stay outside, okay? Don't forget to smile.
Not a whole lot to say there, although Josh does say that he goes skydiving every few months. Every few months. Yeah. Anyway, apparently Jaylen mentioned in casual conversation that this is on her bucket list, so there's not a lot to do there. They do it. They have a lot of fun. Cute. So Will and Britney, they have a WWE themed day.
Cool.
Then you can go smash that thing.
Will wanted to plan this one because Britney has loved wrestling since she was young. She watched it with her dad and her grandfather. And also Will had a moment as well where he had a wrestling phase. He goes on in the confessional a lot. Will's another person that loves to hear himself talk. Will definitely thinks he is an intellectual. Famous wrestler Mark Henry shows up. He gives them a little advice about marriage and being patient. And then they get into how they feel about their relationship right now.
You don't feel things like I do.
I don't feel things.
Like I do.
So Britney feels they are on a good trajectory right now. She has no regrets about this entire thing and asks Will, how do you feel? And Will's like, I'm not going to say that we're in the best spot that we've ever been in, but I definitely think that we're making strides to get there. I'm like, Will, by now you should know that you need to be telling Britney, yeah, I think we're doing great. We have a little work to do, but I think we're doing great. Okay, you need to make sure to start with, we're doing great. We're doing awesome. I'm happy. Because as expected, Britney says, oh my God, I feel like by the way you say that, you don't think I'm your person. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. I'm starting to think Will likes to antagonize her a little bit. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm starting to think he likes to get her riled up just a little bit. Don't think I have not peeped how kind of condescending Will is. And I do think that he likes getting a rise out of her. So anyways, Will says, that's not fair. Why would you say that? Britney's riled up at this point, so she keeps going on and she says, I feel like you don't feel things the way I do. And Will's sitting there like, what do you mean? And I'm like, Will, come on. You know that you try to yes, Britney gets triggered very easily, but you also try to antagonize her. It's a lot. In the confessional, Britney says that sometimes all she wants is that validation from Will. All she wants is for her to just make her feel secure in this situation. So Derek and Megan go over to Megan's parents' house, and Derek is meeting her dad for the first time because remember, he did not come to the wedding. Her sisters are there. Some of her friends is there. It's a big group of people that are all here. So they get on to conversation about what they like about each other. They both say things like intelligence, drive, they're both hot, whatever. Then they jump onto the conversation of kids. And Derek does bring up to her family how he wants 2 to 3 kids. During this whole conversation, Megan is very quiet. And again, for as much as I think Megan flies off the handle, I do still think, to me, I would definitely feel a bit uncomfortable with how pushy Derek is being about this 2 to 3 kids for sure. 2 to 3 kids, 2 to 3 kids. Megan's family, her parents, they're like, okay, we see that. When are you going to start? Her mom is very excited about it, but her dad does say to an extent like, hey, I do understand that things are different now raising kids with financial constraints and all kinds of things than when we were raising Megan and her sibling. For Megan, she says she's not ruling out having 3 kids, but Derek is not the one carrying the kids. And I wholeheartedly agree. I'm sorry. As I said, I am sorry. I'm not saying I don't think that men can have fantasy ideas in their head of how many kids they want, but to actually push for it, I think is just simply unfair. I don't really like the way that Derek's approaching it, and I can definitely understand the frustration there. But Derek and Megan's parents also have a little conversation, and her mom is thrilled about this. Her mom's like, when you gonna start? You guys gonna start in December? I want to have a baby by December. And I'm like, oh. And we already know the two of them are having quite a bit of unprotected boom boom. And we remember there's a couple this season that gets pregnant. Chad and Belinda. Chad walks into the apartment. He's like, hey, baby. And he has a bouquet of roses for her. And Belinda's like, oh, who are the flowers for? And he's like, you?
Good, it was
Little
good.
blossoms of happiness.
I boiled some eggs because I know you said you wanted to have tuna.
Yummy.
because you're beautiful. And I thought they were beautiful. They start to get into a conversation. Belinda's like, oh, I was looking up destination weddings. And Chad's like, oh my God, really? And he's like, oh my goodness, you know, we have an opportunity to go to Portugal next June, by the way. And she's like, oh, I was kidding. I think something's not quite clicking for Belinda with Chad. I don't know if she thinks it's because he's very performative. I don't know if it's just because she's not attracted to him in that way. I don't know if it simply is because she's used to her previous marriage where she wasn't really getting all of that. But there's definitely something, right? A disconnect with Belinda and how she feels about Chad. And don't get me wrong, I'm still definitely keeping my eyes open because, again, I still get a vibe that Chad might be a guy who's all in very intensely in the beginning. Dare I say love bombing? I don't know if I can use that term without more evidence, but I do feel like Chad's very in the beginning and then he kind of gets bored. That's just my projection. I know I'm projecting, but that's just how I feel. And I don't know if that's what Belinda is picking up. I mean, obviously she's aware that he's had 4 marriages, and I imagine that would make somebody feel a little bit skeptical. Then Belinda gets into how tedious it is to change her last name and fill out all these documents, get a new social security card, a new driver's license. And Chad's like, yeah, that comes with the territory, but I love you, baby. I will do anything in this world to love and protect you. I love you. You are my dream person. And I just feel like Belinda is really not buying most of this. So Josh and Jaylen, they're back at the shared apartment and they're just getting into how even 30 days ago, they did not know each other. They have their framed vows. And for Jaylen, she's talking about how when she wrote them, she didn't really know him. So it's not as personal as she'd like it to be. So they do this little activity where they are rewriting their vows now that they know each other. We see Jaylen, she's firing away at the paper with that pen. She is going in. We see Josh and we get some of that music. We see them scribbles on the paper and Jaylen is done. And she's like, I'm finished. Josh is like, okay, I'm trying to come up with mine. I'm going to take a few more seconds. Jaylen's like, okay, no worries. I'm just going to read through mine. It's all good. I didn't feel like Jaylen was really pressuring him in any way, but eventually Jaylen's like, okay, so I want to read mine. How about yours? And Josh is like, okay, I don't know. I'm not really good at writing.
You're so great. And that would mean more to me than what you're saying right there without knowing me. Truly.
I'm not really good at putting things on paper, especially when I'm being put on the spot. You could tell that Josh is getting increasingly flustered though. And he's like, it took me 4 days to come up with the 4 paragraphs on there. So I don't know. I just feel like it's really, really hard for me to do this. I feel like I'm being put on the spot in front of a group of people and basically told, write something down and speak to the class. Now I understand the camera crew's there. I understand people get kind of flustered and frustrated. I really didn't think this activity was too crazy. And Jaylen is like, look, I'm not asking you to even write 4 paragraphs. I just want you to write 1 sentence, 2 sentences now that you know me about me. Josh basically gives up and he's like, I think this is a silly activity. I wouldn't want to do this anyway. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I would think this was very frustrating and I definitely think it's kind of red flag behavior when something's not going your way or it's something that you don't feel the most comfortable with. Your immediate response is to shut down and kind of criticize the whole thing as a whole. And Jaylen even points out that she went skydiving, which is something he liked that was completely out of her comfort zone, which I agree. You can't write 2 sentences, but she went skydiving? Yeah, I didn't like that from Josh. I was definitely like, because it doesn't feel like a big deal, but I feel like it does definitely indicate a behavioral pattern that is concerning. Megan and Derek, they are back from Megan's parents' house and they're just talking about all of the conversations they had about kids. And once again, Derek is sort of pressing it. He's like, look, you know, when you have 1, you'll probably feel so happy that you'll want to have more. And again, I'm not liking it. Trust me, I don't like Megan's demeanor, but I really don't like how Derek feels very pushy about this whole thing. And it's also getting weird because Megan ain't even that nice to you. So now it's gotta make me think, are you just trying to stay with her for babies? I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it out loud because I don't like it. It's giving weird. But in either case, Megan's like, look, my mom, she was just trying to appease you. She wasn't even really thinking about me, thinking about my uterus. And And on top of that, my mom has 2 grandkids and she does not like watching them like that, okay? She's the grandma that will buy them something. Here you go. Love you. Give a few kisses. So I don't know what you think, but my mom isn't even about to be involved in the kid like that. Derek then starts to talk about how he wants to try in summer or fall. He's ready to get going. And Megan, they both kind of dance around the fact, but say that they're having unprotected sex already. So they kind of imply that they're already trying because it's not like they're doing things on a schedule. That's what Megan says. We're not doing things on any kind of schedule. So I don't know. I'm not sure how the 2 of them really feel about it, but I definitely would feel uncomfortable if my partner that I just met was so adamant about popping a baby out of me this quickly. Britney and Will, they're back at the apartment. Britney says that she thought she would feel very different on their 1-month anniversary. She's content, she feels good, but she thought she would have stronger emotions. So they go through reading their vows. He reads hers and asks Will a bunch of questions. Let's see what she said. Do I make you happy? He's like, occasionally. Do I make you laugh? Occasionally. Do I create a safe space for you? I feel like it will continuously grow. And again, for as annoying as Britney is, and there's a lot Britney needs to work on, Will is definitely very condescending, and it is kind of annoying. So she asks him, how did you think you would feel on the 1 month? And he basically says, we don't really know each other. So for right now, things are constantly changing. We're constantly learning more about each other. But I definitely think we're going down a good path and getting to know each other more. Will picks up that Britney makes a little face at that answer. And basically, again, Britney expresses that she thought there would be way more emotions, way more security with all of this right now. And she asks Will, well, I don't understand. I don't really get where you are with us. And Will's like, oh yeah, I mean, I like you. I have love for you. I really enjoy you. I definitely think that this is a right decision for me. Well, if you don't just say you don't like her. I'm tired of this couple. I'm so tired of this couple because we got Britney the puppy dog chasing this man, begging him to say a nice word. And we got Will, the condescending jerk who is trying to do nothing more than push Britney away. This man is trying so hard to push her away so she could be the one to walk on out and he doesn't have to do it. And it is not working. These 2 are both entirely too stubborn. Will lets us know in the confessional that he has love for Britney, but he cannot say that he loves her yet. It is way too early in the relationship for him to come to that conclusion. Josh and Jaylen are getting into bed. Them dogs are all over the bed. But anyway, basically, Josh is like, I feel like some tension, so I just want to talk and explain my side of things. So the reason why I got so tense during the activity earlier is because I felt like I was being put on the spot. I felt like I was being pushed to write something immediately and say it in front of the class, and I didn't want to write something subpar. I didn't want to write something I didn't mean. And again, Josh, I'm sorry, but you can't come up with 2 sentences about what you like about her. You're doing a little too much, Josh. I don't like it. The whole shutting down so quickly. That's concerning to me. In either case, Jaylen says that for her, she just felt uncomfortable with the way that he shut down in that situation overall. And on top of that, she didn't know if it meant that there's something wrong with them. She had just gone out of her way to try to do something he likes. Overall, though, he says that is not the case. He just didn't know how to respond in that situation, but he does apologize, say that he loves her, and the 2 of them, for now, are okay. So Megan and Derek, they go to a vineyard to celebrate their 1 month, and they start to talk a little bit about their relationship. For Derek, he feels like a year's worth of relationship stuff has been pushed into 1 month, but overall, he is really happy. He continuously says he has really, really strong feelings for Megan, and Megan admits that she has her guard up a lot, and she does not want to get hurt. But at the end of the day, keeping your guard up and being this way does not actually allow for you to connect with someone in a relationship. So they get back to the room and they get a video from the experts of their wedding vows, and Megan jumps on top of him. She's cuddling with him.
Love you.
Everything is going really well, and she actually even tells him that she loves him. And I was like, oh. But as she says that, crickets. Derek, he does not say it back. And I was like, oh.
But I will say, like, I have very strong feelings for Megan, and yeah.
Derek lets us know in the confessional that notoriously it has taken him a while to get to the point of saying I love you with a partner. So while he has very strong feelings for Megan, he doesn't necessarily want to put out that L-bomb quite yet. Now, it definitely felt like Megan had a little bit of that wine in her because it felt like a totally different person. The way she was on top of that man, she was hugging up on him. I was like, oh boy. But they try to ask Megan in the confessional about saying, I love you to Derek. And Megan's like, huh? I didn't say that. I didn't say I love you. Did I say that? Roll the tape back. Roll the tape back. And I'm not going to hold you. I actually feel like I genuinely believe that Megan was just like kind of inebriated and she just said it loosely thinking he was gonna say it too. I really feel like it wasn't a planned thing for her, but in either case, awkward is definitely uncomfortable when you tell someone that you love them and they are not ready to say it back yet. And especially someone like Megan, who we know is super rigid, super closed off. Yeah, that had to hurt for her, I think, a little bit. And it's also strange to me that Derek is so pressed to have babies with this woman, but you can't even say you love her yet. That's weird. Derek is starting to give me some red flags. I'm not liking it because you are so pressed for this woman to have kids with you. You are so pressed to the point where you're saying you want to start in a couple of months, but yet it takes you a while to say I love you. So in other words, you're trying to tell me you want to have kids with someone that you don't love? That's weird. But all of the couples are celebrating their 1-month anniversary at Rhonda's house. Rhonda's house is beautiful. Her backyard is beautiful. They have a beautiful spread, and they also even hired chefs. Now, you know, when they all get together, they go around the room and they talk about how it's going with each couple. This time it's about, have you said I love you? Where are you with that step? So Josh and Jaylen go first. They say they had an electric connection from the beginning, and they have said I love you, as we know, on the night of her mom and Chad's wedding. Next up, we have Chad and Belinda. Chad said that from basically the first day he met her, he knew that she was going to be somebody that was going to be very special. And by the second day of knowing her, he already knew that he loved her. Now, for Belinda, she said it took her a little bit longer, but she is also at the place where she loves Chad. Next, we get to Will and Britney, and Will's on some, I definitely haven't said it. Again, I'm tired of Will's attitude. He says he definitely hasn't said it. He has love for Britney, but he's not quite there yet. They just started the experiment. How could he even know that? All the stuff he says, I'm like, whatever. I roll. I'm tired. Next. He goes in more about how saying I love you could be very manipulative if it's not something that he actually means. So he wants to make sure that when he says it, it's not just in a rough moment, because he wants to make sure that even if he was real sick and things were going down, that love would still stand. Lastly, Megan and Derek. So Derek says that it takes him a while to get there. He has very strong feelings for Megan, but it takes him a while to actually get to the point of saying it. He's on that path though, and he can see himself getting there. Megan is like, same. And you know what, at this point, I actually understand it from Megan. This time around, I'll give it to her because I'm not liking Derek. Something about Derek is definitely giving me weird. The fact that he's so pressed to have kids with a woman that he can't even say I love you to yet, that's weird. Pat and Rhonda close off, or Pat closes off, and he basically says that you have to want to invest into it every single day. Whether you're 30 or whether you're 60, when it comes to a marriage, you have to be willing to put that work in and learn each other every day. So after this whole thing, Pat and Rhonda, we see them at some kind of concert. It's like one of those like porch concerts, and they're talking, they're just chatting about the music. And Pat's like, I love music as well, because Rhonda says music is her thing. She loves it. It's her element. And Pat's like, me too, honestly. Luckily for you, we're very similar in that way. And Rhonda's like, okay, well, what did you learn about me though?
But what does it tell you about my personality? What does it tell you about the kind of person I am?
And he's like, oh, well, I see that you like to connect with people around you. You like to connect with the neighborhood. I see that you enjoy being very social. No, what did you learn about my personality? And again, I'm going to say it. Rhonda is pissed that she cannot be the center of every conversation. Rhonda is mad that Pat is a talker just like her. I see it now. It's clear as day. Pat's like, well, I learned that music is really something that is near and dear to you. You love the arts. Your mom has been into music. So it's just something that really strikes a chord with you. Honestly, she's always testing this man, and it's annoying. Every single time you say something, Rhonda, he does not need to ask you your life story. The only reason why you feel that way is because you love to hear yourself talk. But they stand up and they go listen to the rest of the songs, and Rhonda's like, oh my God, that song made me so emotional. You know, she explains what she took out of the meaning of the song, something about a river, and Pat's like, oh, I would have interpreted it a different way.
It speaks to me a little bit differently.
And Ron is like, oh my God, I had tears in my eyes. And all he did was direct the conversation back to himself. And I'm like, she's like, we're back to square one again, where all he does is talk about himself. And I'm like, Rhonda, but in all fairness, all you do is talk about yourself too. All you want to do is direct the conversation back to you. Two chatty Cathys. I can't relate because I am a selective extrovert, so I can't relate to this situation, but I feel like these chatty people butting heads. So we come into the diary cam of Josh and Jaylen walking into their apartment.
So actually you're just like, no, telling me everything anymore.
Babe, I'm not hiding anything from you. I'm not hiding anything from you.
And Jaylen is basically saying something to the tune of, oh my God, that's crazy that your friend said that this situation is just like the situation with your ex. And Josh is like, no, he was just trying to say that I jumped into this pretty quickly in the same way that I jumped to the situation with my ex. Jaylen lets us know in the confessional that they were having a conversation with some friends about social media and who they follow. And Josh claimed during the conversation that he had unfollowed his ex. And mind you, he had said in the last episode he was going to do it. And I already told y'all that's not happening, because people that have this open line of communication with their ex, they're not going to suddenly just drop that person for a new relationship. It's not happening. It's not happening. Don't ever believe that. So she says that through conversations and through more questions, she started to realize it was evidently clear that he did not actually unfollow her. And apparently, since the experiment has began, they have been DMing each other. So at this point, Jaylen feels very, very hurt about the situation because, one, why are you lying? And two, is the mutual respect there for me? And here's the thing, right? Why are you lying about it, though? Why are you lying about it, though? I feel like things like this, again, would I be cool with my partner having an open line of communication with their ex? Absolutely not. But I feel like even if it was something where it's a friend, it's chill, it's tame, it's definitely gonna look sus if you are lying about it. I don't know, Josh, I'm watching you because you are definitely starting to give me some weird signs this episode. But anyways, if you made it to this point of the video, that means you liked the video. So I would greatly appreciate if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It helps to get the videos out there and it inspires me to keep creating. Please, please hype the videos if you have hype points left. Please check out the rest of the Married at First Sight recaps that I've done for 1 through 7. And also, if you like Squid Game The Challenge, check out the video I did for episodes 1 through 4. Thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you in my next one. Bye!